Hello, Retromoviegirl fans. My name is Retromoviegirl, and today I have a book called "Say What You Will" by Cammie McGovern. It's a book about a young girl named Amy. She has cerebral palsy, which is also my diagnosis, but it's also about a young man named Matthew who has OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. And what happens is Amy's mother, who's a psychologist, her and Amy come up with an idea along with her parents that instead of a paraprofessional or a classroom helper who's been helping the classroom for a long time is not going to be helping Amy this year. Instead, it'll be 4 characters, two boys and 2 girls, will be helping Amy with the necessities of her life when it comes to school, helping out at school. Because at school you have paraprofessionals and classroom helpers that can help you if you need to go to the bathroom or change your clothes for any sort of reason, help you open food. So they come up with this idea because Amy is 18 and she's going to be leaving for college very soon, and she wants the regular experiences that every person in high school and beyond that has. She hasn't had a lot of experience. Maybe she wants to make friends, find someone she likes to date, whatever. Anyway, her parents agree to this, and they enlist these characters, like I said, to help her out in her daily goings-on at school. Anyway, she meets Matthew, and they exchange emails, and they establish a connection like Amy wants, and they have conversations. They've known each other throughout their school time together, not just this specific time, but throughout their school time together. They've known each other for a while, and Matthew has been watching Amy and knows that she doesn't have very many, if any, friends, because her parents are overprotective, and that doesn't facilitate a lot of friendships or dating. And in that way, they're able to, through their emails, they're able to establish a connection, and they get to know each other, and they talk a lot more than they would have normally talked. But when I come back, that is the basic frame of the story. But when I come back, I'll be talking about one of the scenes that really stands out to me and giving you some more representation for people who are in wheelchairs, some honorable mentions of stuff that I've seen on the internet or wherever I find it will be linked down below. So when I come back, I'll tell you more about my favorite scene or a standout scene. So I'll see you for the next clip. The first thing that I noticed about Amy is that she thinks that she's familiar with certain aspects of what's going to happen. Like, for example, in one scene, she mentions how being in water might be like sex, and her and Matthew kind of have a little discussion about how would you know what sex is like. You've never even dated anybody. You don't really have a lot of friends. How would you know? You never talk to people. Well, she says, well, people talk and they say stuff, and I hear it, but it's not the same thing as experience, and Matthew points that out. But she also points out that Matthew has never really had any friends himself. So they're able to connect in the fact that neither one of them has had very many experience with people, or like a clique or a subset of people themselves that are not like them. They mostly dealt with their parents and other adults. They haven't yet dealt with their peers, and they're both able to admit that and discuss that in a very frank way, as much as you can in young adult. But one of the scenes that really stands out to me is that when Amy wants to go to prom, and she's chosen all the kids are supposed to handle different aspects of whatever's supposed to go on. So they've enlisted, I think there's a character named Sanjay and Matthew. Matthew is the first person she asks, will you take me to prom? But Amy's mother throws a wrench in things by literally handing Matthew a note that says, stay away from my daughter. Now, a lot of the time I'm like, whatever, parents have to protect their children, but at this point, Amy is 18 and she wants to have these certain experiences, and maybe she's not aware of these things that can happen to you. I would much rather have them have that conversation as parent and young adult. I would much rather them have that conversation instead of Matthew, please stay away from my daughter. You're not right for my daughter, because they have certain expectations of what Amy should be aiming for as far as friendships and placing herself in the right state of mind. They somehow get it in their head because Sanjay is a straight A student that she must now become super ultra friendly and maybe even date Sanjay. But one of the things that really bothers me, not only that Amy's mother gave Matthew that note, which I think is completely inappropriate. Amy is not per se a child. She's 18 years old and she can make her own decision as long as she's aware of the consequences of which are never discussed by the parents. It's just, whatever happens, and they leave her alone with Sanjay. And as a result of being left alone with Sanjay, she has to deal with a very critical situation that could put her in danger, all because her parents thought that this is who she should be with. But in the end, when she has to make a decision and she comes to Matthew and says, Matthew, please help me with this decision, it's a critical point. But I just want to say that not all parents maybe perhaps know, especially when you've reached adulthood and can make those kind of decisions, maybe not all parents know what is right for you as a person. Maybe not all of us want to date, or maybe, we want to date a certain type of person who would fit us. And it's really not up to your parents after you turn 18 to decide that for you. But that part was really critical because it led to other situations that maybe if they hadn't stuck their noses in, the relationship would have been over and it just would have been done with. But overall, I do like the story. It hits a little bit close to home for me, being diagnosed with cerebral palsy and having to face some of the things that Amy has to face, the choices of who you want to be friends with, if you want to date, who you want to date, and if they're appropriate for you. Those are some of the choices I face in my daily life, and that's why Say What You Will is so important as a matter of representation for everyone in any kind of disabled situation, a dating situation. It's all up. It might be a young adult novel, but in some ways, I live with certain aspects of this in my daily life, and that's why I like it and find it so inspirational. And hopefully you all will read this book. I'll put a link to where you can find this book, and also links to things like Speechless. Speechless was a show that aired on ABC for maybe 2 or 3 years down the line here. It was actually given a seal of approval by the CP Foundation, and they did a lot of promo for it and endorsed it very heavily. So if you're looking for something that is of that CP type of thing, there's also Speechless, there's My Left Foot, there's The Upside, which stars Kevin Hart as a young man who's been sent to prison and he's out on parole, and he's been asked to work for a man who's a quadriplegic as his primary aid, which they do need, and all the things that happen in the course of the disabled man's life, and what Kevin Hart's character learns as a result of dealing with the man's daily life and daily worries, of course, which includes dating and other things like that. I'll put links to everything I've talked about, the book, Speechless, My Left Foot, if I can find it, and any other things. This video will be modified, especially the description. Any other things that I run across in Googling or hunting will be in the description, so pay attention. And I would like you to subscribe, like, and comment on this video or any other video. And remember to explore my channel, look around. Maybe there's something you like, something you want to comment on. I'm always in the comment section, so feel free. And I'll talk to you in my very next video. Bye.